Those of you that don't know my wife and I might be wondering how I came to address this crowd. We came to address this crowd with an American accent. We came to this country 10 years ago. We moved here looking for opportunities for golden soil and wealth for toil. We found it in spades. We found a wonderful people in the Australian bush capable of playing on, thinking outside the box and solving any problem that nature threw at them. We are now Australian citizens. We started a cattle feedlot in Narrogin after spending 2 years getting all of our environmental approvals. And we started out with 500 head. Our project expanded very rapidly thanks to an excellent labor force. We treated our employees like family, and we loved them very dearly, including my friend Lindley Bosley, who was my right-hand man, and built the project up from 500 head capacity up to 10,000 head capacity of cattle. In 2007, the Department of Environment in WA sponsored a so-called open forum meeting for people in all WA industries to discuss the implementation of the Greenhouse Gas Reporting Act. I fronted up at that meeting with a box full of Great Global Warming Swindle DVDs and a bunch of information from the Lavoisier Group. Shortly following that, environmental groups and government departments attacked our business. After about 2 years, they finally shut us down through license restrictions on our capacity. When our business collapsed, my friend Lindley Bosley took his life. It's because of this experience that I feel so passionate about stopping the Labor government from passing this carbon tax legislation. In our case, the government was able to shut us down with no proof of any wrongdoing because we needed a license because we had a prescribed premise. If this carbon tax legislation goes through, the government will have the power to do the same thing to any business, regardless of whether you need a license or not. It's very important that we stop this legislation, and that's why I decided to go on the convoy of no confidence to Canberra. Contrary to what you might have been told in the media, the convoy was not a flop. I would like to introduce Gordon Crawford. Are you still here? Any other members of the convoy? There's Gordon back there. Gordon is a transport operator and owner who, with his own money, his own time, prepared the lead truck and drove us all the way 3,800 kilometers to Canberra. There was much confusion on the day. Many people have said that the convoy was a flop because we failed to shut down Canberra. The organizers of the rally got permission from the Australian Federal Police over 3 months ago on the basis that we would never shut down traffic in Canberra. The convoy was led into Canberra in bits and pieces on purpose to prevent shutting down Canberra. On the final day, we were supposed to arrive in Canberra. We were held waiting on a police escort for 2 hours at the ACT border. We would probably still be there had Gordon not said, "Bugger it, we're going, guys." And I can tell you, when we got to State Circle, the sight we saw was one of the most impressive things I've seen. Trucks, people from all over Australia, people up on the overpasses crying and waving flags, and it was definitely an inspiration to me. And I saw there on the lawn of Parliament a bunch of people. Many of them had lost millions of dollars, their entire life's work in the live export ban. Some of them had lost $25,000, which represented their entire life savings in the pig bat scam. Despite all this, I saw people there, much to the chagrin of the current government, that refused to go to Centrelink and get on payments but were still willing to live hand to mouth and work the only way they knew how. The carbon tax legislation that's about to be passed is a series of acts, 18 long. I'm told, nobody knows for sure, but it's something like 11,000 pages. I've read one of those acts. It's called A Bill for an Act to Encourage Clean Energy and for Other Purposes. I can assure those of you that haven't read this legislation yet, there's a whole lot more in there about other purposes than there is about clean energy. I have seen some of the other parts of the act, and I can tell you, I think I can sum up 11,000 pages in about 3 sentences. This is an act that takes the decision-making power over everything that is produced in Australia, who produces it, and how much they get paid for it, out of the hands of consumers, and puts it in the hands of a small group of bureaucrats and investment bankers. This, in spite of all evidence of human history, that government-controlled economies are a very bad idea. Not only that, but even worse, this cedes authority over what happens in Australia to the United Nations. This tax must be stopped. Somehow, some way, we must ask our friends in the Labour Party to help us change their government, withdraw this bill. Failing that, we must find one of their members that will join us, and we must explain to them that we are prepared to back them at the next election, no matter what party they may belong to then. This is still a democracy, and in a democracy, a government of the minority, by the minority, and for the minority must not stand. Thank you.